go ahead, fire away. You're ready.
With Cade being as established as he was last year and as important as he was to you guys in the passing game, how can he get better? How can he be better this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody can take steps. You know, I mean, I think there's some things in the run game at the point of attack that we're trying to improve on, and in some single blocks. You know, just getting a little bit lower in his fits. The pass game, I mean, he's got a really good feel for zone coverage, but just trying to kind of work some top of the route stuff to get better in man. And he's got such good hands, good strong hands, has really good body awareness, right? So he can kind of big body guys, but just trying to do a couple things there. And you know, it's never good enough for him. So he's a pretty easy guy to motivate, right? He's, in his mind, he's never arrived. So it's kind of the type of mentality that we're looking for in our unit and in our team too. So for sure.
Devin Culp obviously had to miss a couple days early, and then he's worked his way back in. How do you feel like he's progressing right now, and where are kind of the big areas of emphasis for him?
Yeah, no, he's done a great job. You know, he's a couple days behind early in camp, but I think he's come right back up to speed. He's making plays, and you know, he's really taking a step in how physical he is in the run game. Honestly, that's probably the thing I'm most happy about. You know, I mean, he started to show some flashes in the pass game in the spring, and he's continuing to do that too. So, you know, we're expecting a big year for him, and we're excited about him for sure.
If you were to put Cade Otton's blocking skills up against the other top tight ends in the country, where would you rank him?
Number one, probably. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty special in the run game. You know, I can't say that I've studied in depth some of the guys in the other conferences. I'm sure they're highly touted for a reason as well. But he is pretty dominant at the point of attack. You know, I mean, whether it's, you know, and you know, especially when he gets in combos with those tackles, he can be pretty scary. I mean, he's a hard, gets in fits, has really good technique. He's clean technique wise, and then the biggest thing is he finishes blocks, and he likes to finish blocks, and he likes to finish people. He takes a lot of pride putting guys in the dirt, and you know, that's why he's such a good example. You know, number one thing we talk about is being physical, and that's what he takes the most pride in.
Looking back at last year, is there one thing that maybe stood out to you from like watching the film, or something that you guys were hoping to improve upon going into this year?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to kind of the first question. You know, some of those things we're talking about, kind of the one-on-one, you know, some of the one-on-one blocks getting a little bit lower in his fits, and then just some of the different stuff at the top of the routes versus man coverage and some of that stuff. But those are kind of the areas of focus, and just keep building on those for sure.
Quentin Moore is a guy who really passes the look test. How's he progressing? And he looks like a guy who could be that splash play downfield kind of guy. Is that what you're looking at from him?
Yeah. Quentin's doing a good job. I think you know, these past 3 or 4 days at camp, he's really taken a step in the positive. We do a lot of stuff offensively, right? We ask the tight ends to do a lot of stuff within our offense, and he's really taken a step in terms of assignment. You know, now it's kind of just cleaning up the details, but I mean, he's made some big time catches. I think he's another kid that's a really tough kid. I mean, he made you know, I think you guys probably saw in the Saturday scrimmage, right? The tough catch, you know, got a big hit on him, and he came down with the football. So he's not afraid, and he's definitely a guy that's going to be a dynamic playmaker down the field. I mean, you're, you know, 6'5", 250, and you can freaking run like he does. I mean, that's going to create some issues for people.
When a guy like him comes in from JC, what are you asking him to do that maybe he hasn't had to do before that's just toughest to learn?
Yeah, I think, you know, we do a lot formationally with those guys. I mean, I think that's the great thing about being a tight end in the UW offense, right? If you're a recruit, why you would want to come here and play tight end here, because we're going to ask you, you're going to be in line, we're going to split you out, you're going to be the single guy, you know, into the boundary, you're going to be in empty sets, doing all these different things. And just for him being able to, you know, process all that information and play fast, you know. But a lot of those, I mean, it was funny with Quentin, because, you know, you watch his high school tape, and so his high school tape, he spread out a lot, doing a lot of stuff, you know, as a wide receiver type. And then I think it helped him a lot in JUCO. You watch his JUCO tape, and he was much more of a traditional tight end. So I do think coming in, that helped him. He kind of got the best of both worlds coming in, and now it's just kind of cleaning up the details, some of the details in his technique, some of that stuff, and just getting to play fast. But he's doing some good things. We're really excited about Q, for sure.
Speaking of guys that do everything, I mean, Jack Westover seems like a guy who obviously out of that sort of H-back role, he's blocking the point of attack, but you guys also split him out wide. He's done a lot as a pass catcher in this camp.
Yeah.
When you got in, I mean, obviously you'd been here before, but when you got the tight end coach role, I mean, did you know that he was as versatile athletically as he is shown to be?
Yeah, I mean, he's always, shown up in camp and stuff and doing that, but I do think he has taken a big step this camp. He's been really consistent, in the run game, and then obviously you guys see him in the pass game. He doesn't drop the ball, he catches everything, doesn't bust assignments. And yeah, so I mean, we kind of always knew, right? When he came in, we kind of recruited him off of basketball tape, right? And the dude could jump out the gym and do all that stuff, and so he was definitely, it was a pleasant surprise, but we knew he had some juice to him for sure.
How do you think that, like we saw in the scrimmage, the first drive kind of stalled, and last year in the first half, a couple drives weren't going on your way, but how do you think this year you guys can take advantage, maybe in the first half, jump in front?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just gotta be ready to roll. Bring. Obviously, last year was a unique deal with no fans. You got to bring your own juice, and it's just executing from the jump. I mean, I think it's just. I mean, I don't think it's anything more complicated than that. You got to hear the call, know the call, and do your job on a consistent basis from the first snap to the last. And I think the guys are locked in on that, and we don't worry about the last play. We don't worry about the next play. We just worry about what is currently going down and how do we execute on that down and distance in that situation. And then you stack those together, you're going to start fast and you're going to be a successful offense.
All right. Folks, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Dylan, I was talking to John Donovan. I mean, he said that you kind of have a little bit of a rare ability in terms of flushing mistakes, and I'm sure all coming up as a quarterback, you're going to throw interceptions, do that kind of stuff, but just the ability to move past that. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you sort of have developed over time?
I think that's something I've always been that way throughout Little League and all that stuff. I mean, that's just kind of how you got to be as a quarterback. You got to be that guy that everyone looks to when stuff goes bad, and when stuff goes right, you got to be just even. And so that's kind of what I have to do. I feel like I've always been like that through Little League, middle school, high school, all that stuff. And so, I'm just going to keep being that way.
Dylan, I know you're the returning starter from last year, but early in camp, Jimmy told us that you were the starter. Were you kind of surprised that he named you the starter that early in camp?
I mean, that's a decision he makes. I just got to, come every day and do my job. There was, even if he named me that early, there was still a lot of camp left at that point. And, I couldn't have done anything different. I just got to go and show up every day and do my job.
Dylan, quarterbacks are always looked at as leaders, no matter the team. The oddity of last year, did it allow you to take ownership of being a leader for that group, or was it such just an odd year between the short schedule and everything that you couldn't really do that? And then from there, how did you sort of build into that through spring and now into fall camp?
Yeah, definitely. Last year was weird. I think it was definitely hard to kind of step in a leadership role when you're on Zoom. You're not really in person running plays together. You're learning it online, and then we got together and finally started running some stuff. And just me personally, as a younger guy, I just wanted to lead by example. Just show the guys I'm gonna do my job, and that's all I can control. And then now, just stepping into a more leadership role, I've tried to bring some more juice to the sideline and to our offense, and really try to bring some guys up in the off season. Throw with a lot of the receivers, get the whole offense together, try to learn some stuff together. So it definitely helped with having a normal year.
You watched tape of your performance in camp this year next to tape of last year, I guess not this time, but camp time last year. Well, what do you think the biggest differences would be?
I think just my decision making, being more decisive, and I think that just came with understanding defenses a little better. A lot of tape I watched in the off season was just understanding, base defense coverages, little keys that would help me on the field that I could, get to a certain target a little quicker. And also too, my biggest thing is just understanding protections better, being able to, shift the protection with certain pressures. And I think that's the biggest jump I've seen for myself between this camp and last.
Dylan, Washington typically has had the really tall starting quarterback like Neeson. Steve Ballure, Chris Chandler, those kind of guys. I think you're the shortest starting quarterback in about 40 years here at Washington. Is there a sense of pride for you to overcome, I'm not sure, height disadvantage, but just the mold, I guess?
No, not at all. I still got to play quarterback. I said that, last interview. You can be 6'5", 6 foot, 5'5". You still got to do your job, throw to the right guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of looking at tape, what about just the regular season tape you looked at? What stood out to you in terms of, I did really well in that area, and maybe areas that you think you could improve on?
I think it's a little sort of the same thing. I think last year was just protecting the ball pretty good. Besides, the first half of the Utah game got fooled into some things. But yeah, last year I was just trying to do my job. Like I said, just trying to throw the right guys, not trying to do too much, just really understanding, the defense that we were playing against and what we were trying to do as an offense and just operate efficiently.
Dylan, what would need to happen in order for you to feel successful at the end of the year?
I mean, Pac-12 championship, big-time bowl game.
Would you say doing your job? Some quarterbacks are considered game managers. Some are considered, I'm going to take over and throw for 350 yards. Do you feel like there's a certain role that you have, a certain characteristic as a quarterback?
I mean, game manager, protecting the football. That's all I can do. I'm not going to go all, reckless cowboy out there and just throw the ball around. Just want to protect the football, put us in good situations in the run game and the pass game, and just end with points on the board.
Dylan, to play quarterback, you have to have a little bit amount of swagger. We haven't spent a lot of time around you. You seem like you're pretty cool, calm, and collected. Are you like this on the field, out in the tunnel, and in the huddle, or do you get fired up out there?
I'll get a little fired up, but for the most part, I gotta stay a little cool, stay a little more even-keeled, and when stuff goes bad and stuff's going good, I gotta have the same mentality. Like Coach Cato said, we're just worrying about the play that we're running right now, and so that's what I kind of gotta do.
Are there quarterbacks that you've studied that you admire and try to model your game after at all?
Drew Brees definitely, just because he's he has games where he's not making all the flashy plays. He had a game last year when he checked the ball down. I don't know how many times, and still threw for over 200 yards, and they won the game. And you can just tell watching film, he knows exactly what he's doing. He understands the defense. He gets the ball to the right guy on time, and you can just tell he just knows exactly what he's doing. He manages the game, protects the football.
So you're not a Brett Favre guy.
Always growing up, I like his little gunslinger mentality. He's got a can of an arm, but from more of a quarterback perspective, what I'm trying to do is protect the football. So I'll watch a guy like Drew Brees.
Did you know Brees wanted to be a Cougar?
Yeah, whatever.
Dylan, you mentioned this last time, and you talked about this in high school too, that it was always your dream to be a Husky quarterback. I was curious, is there significant moments growing up, like a game you watched, or anything else about this program that you said, yeah, this is a place I want to be?
I went to a game, forgot how old I was. It's my first game ever. Keith Price was the quarterback. I forgot who we were playing. Got a picture with Lorenzo Romar. I was with my buddy. He had some season tickets right outside the tunnel. I remember watching the team run out of the tunnel. That moment, I was like, this is my dream. I was decked in all purple, always have been. So from then on, I knew I wanted to come here and play some football.
Is there a game you can remember where you did go reckless cowboy?
Last year? Oh, high school?
Wherever.
No, not reckless. I'll still try to keep it a little more manageable of getting the ball to the right people. But if, when the game's on the line, I got to fit the ball in the window, I'll try to do that.
Dylan, the Utah game, like you mentioned, you made some mistakes in that game, but then you come back, and obviously that's probably a game you're going to remember for a long time. There was nobody in the stadium, but that feeling when you wrapped that up and when you found Cade and the interception afterwards, where does that rank in terms of experiences throughout your career to this point?
To this point, definitely at the top of the list. Just as a team as a whole, we went through it. We were down 21.5 or whatever, and it just never felt out of reach because we knew that's the type of football we play. And I think just as a whole offense and as a team especially, just coming back from that and getting that done, that was big time. I think that'll be at the top of guys' list of experiences here.
Dylan, can you tell us give us a little bit of insight, what it's like watching film with John Donovan? What are you seeing? What is he seeing? And maybe some things that you're telling him you really like to do, and some, just break it down a little for us.
Last year when we were watching film on opponents, we were watching stuff on Monday through Thursday, you know, as soon as we were done with practice, I was up in his office watching stuff, and we were just going through. He has, you know, most of the plays we have scripted down for that day of what we want to get done, and he'll kind of ask my insight on it, like, do you like this one? How do you feel about this one? And, you know, he's really open of making sure that, you know, I was comfortable last year in that sort of situation in a game. And then I think just the practices during a game week were super organized of, you know, this day we're working third downs, this day we're working mixed downs, we got goal line backed up. And so I think it just really prepares us the whole week to get ready for that game. And yeah, I mean, and I watched a lot of film with Peyton McCollum too. He's one of the quality controls on offense, and he'd always get everyone super dialed on offense. He breaks down the film of the defense, I mean, really in detail. So by the time we get to the game, we know exactly what they're doing.
How much of the time would you say is split, you know, looking at your offense as opposed to looking at the defense? Is it a 50-50, 60-40?
I mean, I'd say during the week I'd watch more of the defense we're getting ready to play, because during practice we're repping all the plays we're going to run. And then, yeah, just really study the plays we're going to run, and then as I'm watching film, kind of visualizing that against the defense we're playing and certain tendencies they have.
From the outside looking in, it seems like you and Terrell Bynum have a pretty good connection going. Does it seem like, I mean, would you agree with that? Does it seem like that's kind of taken a step this year? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, he was one of those guys, I would throw a lot with him in the off season. We're like 2 lockers down from each other in the locker room, so we're always talking. We're always kind of picking each other's brains about, you know, what he's seeing on the field, what I'm seeing on the field. He claims he could play quarterbacks. He's a big Madden player, but I tell him it's not that easy. But yeah, I mean, in the summertime, we both just worked really hard. All the receivers, we got together, threw a ton of footballs together. I mean, yeah, just the relationships all in that room were really strong now in this season.
Do you think people underestimate your arm strength? Because I was watching you, and it seemed like you were sneaky fast, almost like a pitcher that people aren't really expecting.
I mean, that's nothing I can control. If they want to believe I have a strong arm or not, it's whatever. I just got to, like I said, deliver the ball to the right person on time. That's all I can control.
You'd agree you throw it pretty hard, don't you?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I'm curious, are you a book guy? You seem like you're pretty knowledgeable and just about, like, I mean, controlling everybody else. Like, do you like have inspiration from like a book or something like that?
I'm trying to get into reading more. But I mean, that's just, I mean, I don't know. Something I'm trying to get into more. A little more of those, I just finished the David Goggins book, I don't know if you know who that is. Navy SEAL guy. Just finished that book, you know, his mentality of, you know, he's always says staying hard and having a good mentality, all that stuff.
You mentioned Terrell wanting to play quarterback a little bit. Of all the non-quarterbacks, who's got the best arm?
Non-quarterbacks? He's up there. Sean McGrew's got a pretty good arm. I'd say those 2 guys. That's the top of my head who I can think of.
All right, let's cut it off and get these linemen over. Henry, I'll go you first. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, John. Here's Henry, and then Luke, so we'll get on him, so we'll get it's off. All good. Both legs crossed. All right, how's everybody doing?
What size cross are those?
They're 17s. Yeah.
Do you have to get those on special order?
I ordered them from the website, yeah.
So I've seen you guys been doing the Husky Olympic stuff on social media or whatever. I mean, have you kind of enjoyed connecting with people like that, playing basketball, all that stuff?
Oh yeah, it's always a great time, you know, getting to not do like only football things with your teammates. And I think it's really great that we get to connect with the younger guys, the new guys that are coming in, and really like show them that the culture that we have and the brotherhood, and just to let them know that, you know, when you come here, you're a part of us, and we all love each other, and that's how it's going to be with the time that they spend here.
Can you dunk?
Can I dunk? Yeah. I haven't tried dunking in a while. Maybe we'll have to see.
What's your best sport?
What's my best sport?
Yeah.
Like other than football?
For Husky Olympics.
For Husky Olympics, I don't know. I don't think we're doing it this year, but if we were doing the swimming relay, that would have been my activity.
Are you a natural swimmer?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Preference?
Not really. I think just like being a little kid, I've always been like, loved swimming, loved being in the water. And I think I did classes after my dad threw me in the pool. So, yeah.
Henry, you had all 5 starters coming back, and all of a sudden in fall camp, we see like a 3-man competition at left guard. Are you guys watching that with, I know you're busy doing what you're doing, but still you're seeing all of a sudden this big competition break out in the middle of the line. Well, what's been the reaction amongst you guys?
Honestly, I just want what's best for the team. And everybody, the whole, like the left guards, obviously, and the guys that are competing, I think they're all super competent and have like great abilities. They're all talented. And, that's up to Coach Huff. That's his call. That's what he gets paid lots of money for. And honestly, I trust his call.
Just being around Julius for the last couple of years, how have you seen him continue to progress to this point?
I think it's been impressive seeing him progress. He's gotten like a lot better with the playbook, just like him picking my mind and him picking his mind. We're just like getting together, asking each other about plays. He's in the film room. He's asking about things. He's asking about technique. And it's like very clearly you can tell that he wants to improve and wants to be the best player that he can be.
Henry, coming in, I know as a freshman here, big time program, a lot of expectations. I'm sure it can be a struggle. Can you talk about going through that process of growing up and where you were as a freshman and what's changed and where you are right now?
It was a lot, definitely a lot. I think coming in and like as you said, there being like lots of expectations. I think what I wanted to focus on was just doing the best I could each day, and I think I was doing that. And most of the times there's like obviously setbacks. Not every day is going to be perfect. And one of the things that coach says is, it's not as good as you think and it's not as bad as you think. And that's really helped me throughout the years, stay and have a positive mindset and deal with like every day. Anything else for Henry?
So who won the dunk contest?
The dunk contest?
Did you guys have a dunk contest or was that just?
It was like a free throw shootout. I forgot the team though. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Luke, thank you.
Luke, what's your perspective on Julius Buelow, just playing next to him and seeing him get some reps in there with the starters this last week or so?
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. All 3 of those guys have been doing an awesome job, and they're all making each other better, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top, so it'll be fun.
How does just playing next to those guys, how does your communication change, if at all, if there's a redshirt freshman in as opposed to a returning starter? Just how does that kind of shift?
It's almost like we got 3 of the same guys playing next to me all the time. It's like they all communicate well, they all talk well, and they're all reliable guys that I can count on.
What's been the best part of camp so far this year?
Football. Yeah, I love football so much. So I'm just so happy we can come back and have a regular camp. It's like last year we almost didn't have football, so it's nice to have things back to normal.
When you look at a guy like Dylan from, this point last year to this point now, just the way he's able to take command of the offense and whatnot, what sort of progression have you seen from him?
He's grown. It's tough because he was already so far ahead as a redshirt freshman last year. He keeps getting better and better, so it's good to see him come along as well.
Does he keep the same demeanor like all the time?
Yeah, he's pretty calm, cool, collected guy. But I don't know if you saw the end of the Utah game. He gets pretty fired up too, so it's good to show emotions like that.
What's been the biggest change through your time here? Has there been a big culture shift between, Coach Peterson and Coach Lake, or does it kind of feel the same as when you were a freshman?
The whole culture of the team has been great the entire time I've been here. And I think that started with Pete, and Lake has continued that through his time here, so it hasn't changed much.
You feel like you've changed maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I first came here, I wouldn't talk at all. And now I'm up here talking to you guys, so.
In the locker room too?
Well, I'm sorry?
Are you like talking in the locker room to these guys? Are you one of the vocal leaders out there?
I wouldn't say I'm a vocal leader, but I try and lead by example, and when I do speak, I try and make it count.
Your team has got a lot of honors, a lot of watch lists mentioned. You've got some of that, and Jackson Kirkland's got a lot, and McDuffie. But I just looked at the AP preseason All-American team, and there's 2 full teams. There's not a Husky on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they still don't know what you guys are all about because you only played 4 football games last year?
Yeah, I mean, I really try not to look at the preseason stuff because it just doesn't mean anything to us, and all we care about is the postseason. So, yeah, we try not look at that stuff.
But instead of trying to get you to brag about yourself, you know, they're almost like ignoring you. So.
Yeah, I like it better that way, so, yeah.
All right. Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Thanks for your patience.